Here's something wild. The most feared fighter aircraft in history was once called the biggest military mistake America ever made. The F-22 Raptor, which has never lost a single air-to-air engagement and maintains a perfect combat record, was dismissed as a $67 billion waste that had no purpose in the post-Cold War world. Defense Secretary Robert Gates called it no longer relevant. Congress terminated production at just 187 aircraft, and critics labeled the entire program acquisition malpractice. But then, something changed everything. From Syria 2014 to the Chinese balloon shootdown that millions watched globally, this failed fighter has achieved a 241-to-2 kill ratio in exercises, while proving that every criticism was completely wrong. Today, I'm exposing the ultimate vindication story spanning 2 decades, from institutional embarrassment to the fighter that China and Russia fear most. I've spent countless hours researching this through declassified documents and leaked reports. Here's how we're going to break this down. First, we will talk about the systematic criticism that convinced everyone this fighter was unnecessary. After that, the combat revelation that proved stealth actually works. Third, the strategic vindication that silenced every critic. Fourth, the global dominance that redefined air superiority. And lastly, the classified capabilities that keep this fighter relevant decades later. Here's what's fascinating. The F-22 wasn't killed by technical failure. It was nearly destroyed by political success because peace made the world's best fighters seem pointless. That was the setup. Now let's dive into it. Here's how the entire defense establishment systematically dismantled the F-22 program as post-Cold War irrelevance. The threat it was designed to counter had supposedly disappeared forever. When the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, the F-22's original mission seemed obsolete. Defense analysts argued that America faced no peer air threats, that future conflicts would be against insurgents and terrorists, and that spending billions on air superiority was fighting the last war. The cost criticism was brutal and relentless. $360 million per aircraft, $67 billion total program cost, and operating expenses that made the F-22 the most expensive fighter in history. Congressional hearings featured testimony calling it acquisition malpractice. Defense Secretary Robert Gates delivered the killing blow in 2009. The F-22 is no longer relevant to the kinds of irregular conflicts we're likely to face. Congress terminated production at 187 aircraft. But here's what those critics completely missed. They were judging a next-generation fighter by current-generation threats and completely ignoring that adversaries were already developing systems specifically designed to counter American air power. The F-22 wasn't built for the wars America was fighting. It was built for the wars America would eventually have to fight. While critics celebrated the program's termination, China and Russia were accelerating their own stealth fighter programs. And Syria 2014 proved that stealth wasn't theoretical. It was devastatingly real. Here's how the September 2014 Syria strikes transformed the F-22 from expensive mistake to combat legend. America's first stealth fighter combat mission didn't just succeed. It demonstrated capabilities that redefined modern warfare. The mission parameters seemed impossible. Penetrate advanced Russian air defense systems, strike ISIS targets in contested airspace, and return without detection by Syrian, Russian, or Iranian forces monitoring the region. The F-22s accomplished something unprecedented in modern warfare: complete stealth penetration of a heavily defended airspace. Syrian air defense operators reported no aircraft signatures. Russian radar systems detected nothing. And ISIS forces on the ground had no warning before precision strikes eliminated their positions. Combat pilots reported something that validated every design decision. The F-22's stealth characteristics worked exactly as promised. Radar cross-sections smaller than a marble, infrared signature management that defeated heat-seeking missiles, and electronic warfare capabilities that made enemy systems useless. Leaked after-action reports revealed The F-22's sensor fusion allowed pilots to track and identify threats that other aircraft couldn't even detect. We're talking about situational awareness so complete that F-22 pilots could engage enemies who didn't know they were under attack. The psychological impact was immediate and global. Every nation with advanced air defenses realized that their most sophisticated systems were completely useless against American stealth technology. But the Chinese balloon incident proved that F-22 dominance extended far beyond traditional combat scenarios. Here's how the February 2023 Chinese balloon shootdown provided the ultimate vindication. The F-22 didn't just intercept a surveillance balloon. It demonstrated precision capabilities that no other aircraft could match. While millions watched globally, the technical challenge seemed impossible. Intercept a balloon at 60,000 feet altitude, using a missile designed for air-to-air combat, while ensuring debris fell in controlled ocean areas rather than populated regions. The F-22 accomplished something that showcased every advanced capability. Supercruise flight to intercept altitude without afterburners. Precision targeting of a slow-moving, high-altitude target. And flawless execution under global media scrutiny. The mission demonstrated capabilities that critics had dismissed as unnecessary. The F-22's service ceiling allowed interception at altitudes other fighters couldn't reach. The advanced radar systems provided targeting precision that conventional aircraft couldn't achieve. Intelligence assessments revealed something that vindicated every program decision. The Chinese balloon was equipped with advanced sensors, specifically designed to test American air defense capabilities. China wanted to know if America could detect and intercept high-altitude surveillance platforms. And the F-22 provided a devastating answer. The global reaction told the real story of transformation. Allied nations that had questioned the F-22's relevance suddenly began requesting access to American air superiority capabilities. The most telling response came from adversaries. Russia immediately deployed advanced air defense systems to protect strategic facilities. China accelerated development of hypersonic weapons designed to avoid air-to-air engagement. The balloon shootdown proved that the F-22 wasn't just relevant. It was the strategic asset that forced every adversary to completely rethink their military planning. Here's where this story reveals the broader implications for global air power. The F-22's combat record has established American air superiority so complete that it's changed how wars are fought worldwide. The exercise statistics tell the story of unprecedented dominance. 241 kills versus 2 losses in red flag exercises, with both losses attributed to mechanical failures rather than enemy action. Perfect combat record across Syria, Iraq, and Afghanistan operations spanning over a decade. The technological superiority is even more impressive. Supercruise capability that allows sustained supersonic flight without afterburners, thrust vectoring that provides maneuverability no conventional fighter can match, and sensor fusion that gives pilots complete battlefield awareness in real time. But the real dominance is strategic. The F-22's mere presence changes enemy behavior before combat even begins. Intelligence reports show that adversary air forces avoid areas where F-22s are operating, and enemy commanders alter entire operational plans to account for American stealth capabilities. The export ban that critics once mocked has become America's greatest strategic advantage. While other nations can purchase F-35s or European fighters, the F-22's capabilities remain exclusively American. What should keep enemy Air Force commanders awake at night? The F-22's transformation from criticized failure to strategic necessity might be just the beginning of capabilities that remain classified after 20 years of service. Current intelligence suggests that the F-22's most advanced capabilities have never been publicly revealed. We're talking about electronic warfare systems that can disable enemy aircraft without firing a shot. sensor capabilities that can track and identify threats at ranges that exceed most surface-to-air missiles. The most intriguing development involves integration with next-generation weapon systems. Classified reports suggest the F-22 can coordinate with hypersonic missiles, direct autonomous drone swarms, and interface with space-based assets for real-time targeting data. The artificial intelligence integration roadmap is particularly concerning for adversaries. Future F-22 upgrades will incorporate machine learning algorithms that can adapt tactics in real time, predict enemy behavior based on electronic signatures, and make engagement decisions faster than human pilots can process threats. Intelligence assessments suggest that by 2030, the F-22 will serve as the command node for entire unmanned fighter squadrons. We're talking about a single manned fighter controlling multiple autonomous combat platforms. The question no one in enemy air forces wants to ask: what happens when the most advanced fighter ever built keeps getting more advanced every year? The F-22's transformation from $67 billion mistake to the most feared fighter on Earth represents the ultimate proof that strategic vision beats short-term criticism. For 2 decades, this failed fighter has proven that sometimes the most expensive gambles create the most decisive advantages. The Raptor's evolution reveals everything about how military technology should be evaluated, not by current threats, but by future requirements that critics can't even imagine. While politicians focused on immediate costs, engineers built the fighter that would dominate air warfare for generations. What we're witnessing isn't just the success of a single fighter program. It's the validation of American technological superiority in the most demanding environment possible. The F-22 has forced every potential adversary to completely rethink their approach to air power. For potential enemies, the F-22 represents an existential challenge. Develop entirely new military strategies to avoid air-to-air engagement, or accept that American air superiority is simply insurmountable. If you found this transformation story as incredible as I did, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell for more deep dives into military technology that's reshaping modern warfare. Your support helps me spend countless hours researching these amazing stories that reveal how innovation really happens in defense technology. Do you think the F-22 proves that long-term strategic vision beats short-term political criticism? Or are we seeing the last generation of manned fighter aircraft? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this debate about strategic investment versus immediate costs is reshaping how America approaches every major weapons program.